Well, good evening, everybody. This is Ken Johnson, and I am the host here of Weather After Dark. Sometimes Cameron Lindsey joins me, and sometimes he doesn't. He said be here tonight, but we are on a little bit earlier than we normally are, and the reason why we're on a little bit earlier than we normally are is because we got Hurricane Helene making landfall there in Florida tonight. Now, I do realize that Helene has zero impact on our weather here in my part of the world. I get it, but it's a big weather story. And it is, does have interest. It's on every, major news network in the country and in the world right now. And people have, believe it or not, have friends down there and family. A lot of people, were at Air Force bases down there in that area, and now they live here. So that's why I'm kind of doing some updates. If we had a lot of active weather over us, we'd probably spend less time on Helene and more time on us. But, let's just face it, there's just not anything going on right now. So let's talk about it. Let's get into what's going on here with Hurricane Helene tonight. Helene actually has gotten a little bit stronger. Top winds with Helene now up to 140 miles per hour in the the northeastern and eastern eye wall is now moving, the northern and northeastern and eastern eye wall now moving on shore there along the Big Bend area of Florida. Now, the eye wall is that area of dark red that you see that surrounds the center. It's pretty easy to see the eye. It's where you have no precipitation. And it's within that eye wall that you find the strongest wind gusts, and you also find the worst weather conditions. And I would imagine right now along the Florida coastline there, we can stop this from moving. And I'm not familiar with this area. I mean, I vacationed many times over towards Panama City and those areas, but I've never been to like Deckle Beach and those areas. But I do know that the weather is probably about as bad as it gets right now. Over Deckle Beach, Fish Creek, Scanlon or whatever, St. Mark's, those areas. And the weather's probably pretty rough right now in Tallahassee as well, with those strong wind gusts moving into Tallahassee. And the eye wall, at least Tallahassee is going to be right on the western side of this, the western eye wall. Now, the western side is the better area to be in, but still, the winds are really strong there, and with that eye wall moving in, there's going to be a lot of damage, and probably the whole entire city there in Tallahassee will be without power. And then that's going to move up into South Georgia over the next several hours. I expect the eye of Hurricane Helene to be on shore, probably within the next hour or so. They are crossing, somewhere near Fish Creek or east of St. Mark's, kind of up towards the Scanlon area, Perry area, where these Deckle Beach, those areas. So. A lot of this area, believe it or not, is fairly rural. So, if there is a bit of good news, it's with that. This is a pretty big fishing community, and the fishing community is going to be wiped out there, I'm very afraid. Storm surge up to 20 feet being reported in some of those areas, with waves on top of that, that are 40 feet high. So a lot of damage is being shown there tonight. And if we look at the wind, this is the wind field around Helene. Where you see the dark red, that's where the major hurricane force winds. Major hurricane force winds would be 115 or higher. So that's now moving onshore, and that's moving into Tallahassee there really soon. The orange would be up to hurricane force winds, and that's already moving into southern parts of Georgia here tonight. If you take a look at the satellite, that thing really got its act together. And I think that if this thing could have stayed over water, maybe another 12 to 24 hours, it probably would have become a Category 5. It really got that look to it. It took a while for it to get there, but when it finally got its act together, it blew up this afternoon. Eye wall has contracted. It's very small, real tight eye wall, and oftentimes when that happens, they begin to really intensify. So this thing's running out of real estate. Remember, the water, that is what it feeds off of, those warm waters there in the Gulf of Mexico. And once that moves away from that and gets over land, it loses its fuel source. So it's going to weaken. But the storm is so big, and the storm is moving so fast that it's not going to have time to really weaken a lot. Therefore, it looks to me like there's going to be quite a bit of hurricane force and even damaging winds there into Georgia overnight tonight and early tomorrow morning, even into the Carolinas. Look at all that heavy wind there moving in. Storm is falling apart now, but a lot of heavy rain, damaging winds, all the power outages over there in the Carolinas, and even in tomorrow night, it moves up into like Cincinnati and Lexington, Kentucky. It's actually going to merge with an area of low pressure, the same one that brought the front to us here recently. It's going to merge with that area of low pressure, and it's actually going to be to kind of help to kind of fizzle it apart some tomorrow. evening, tomorrow afternoon. But at least in the meantime, again, I know this is not in our area, but it is of interest. That's pretty significant there. Let's take a look here. Let me see if I can pull in some velocity data. I'm probably going to have to give me a second here. I got to go in and select the right radar. So there it is. And where you see this green, and it's a little bit of a dark, even a bit of a red color in there. That's where your strongest winds are located in this instance here. That's a lot of strong winds there moving in. So, yeah, very strong winds there with the eye wall itself pushing on in. In addition to that, you'll get tornadoes that will spin up an eye wall. You also get tornadoes that develop, and you can see some warnings. There's been quite a few warnings tonight up there in the Carolinas and Georgia. So you'll definitely get warnings in those areas, and probably see spin-up type tornadoes tonight and again tomorrow. But there are those strong winds pushing onshore at this hour. In addition to that, you've also got, like I say, the storm surge flooding. That's the big problems there. So that's what's going on with Helene. So let's see here. We got some questions. So Christian Bowen wants to know, how about Loxley, Alabama? Well, Loxley, Alabama is on the west side of this, so Loxley's going to get some wind, but nothing too serious. So I think they'll be fine. Oh, look at who it is. Cameron Lindsey has finally shown up. He's here. You missed the good stuff. You missed the tracking of Helene. Yeah, so pretty rough there, to say the least, for sure. So
I was just talking to Mom. She's talking about how Kentucky's canceling schools and all that.
Well, I mean, tomorrow, not a bad idea, because that area is going to get a lot of wind tomorrow, probably a lot of power outages and down trees. So I can understand why.
Yeah, like mainly in southern parts of Kentucky where it's very hilly and forested.
Yep. So, but y'all make sure to bring your questions if you got any questions there. Yeah, Kimberly, y'all been lucky and haven't had any storms down there in the islands, but I do know that that area is certainly prone to those big storms down in those spots. So I wonder why my Facebook was unable to connect there. Well, it says it's up there though, doesn't it? I don't know why it says that. So
I don't know, it did the same thing to me a couple days ago.
Did it kick you off?
It went live and then stuttered and then kicked me off my page.
I don't know if it's the it's the Restream or if it's OBS that's doing that. I really don't. See, it doesn't even say I'm live on there, so.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with that. Yeah, that's earlier.
So I'm not on live on my page, but.
Scroll down, what was that?
That was from.
It has it running for 48 hours.
That's weird.
That's probably why. It's probably getting blocked. Or it's reading as your page is still
Waiting
live.
for your live video signal. So that's weird.
Well, I'm wondering if you can sign out of your Facebook and sign back into it. I don't know. Because it's still trying to transmit a live video on your page. That's from 2 days ago.
That's weird. Waiting for a live signal there. That's weird. So.
It's not shutting down the way it's supposed to.
Nope, it didn't, and I don't know how to make that shut down. It says it's live still, doesn't it?
Might have to go on your Facebook and delete it. I really don't know.
I'm about to delete this here. Delete it. Boom. Boom.
Are you on right now?
Yeah, I'm on. So I'm sorry, I'm doing some stuff here, guys. I'm for whatever reason, I had my weather program that was this weather after dark from 2 days ago was still running here, so I don't know why. So on my page, but anyway. I'm going to jump off, and then we're going to jump back on to see if I can reconnect to my page so we can get everybody in. All right, I'll be right back.
Sending, streaming, sending.
That's YouTube, so.
Yeah, I know. Just waiting to see what Facebook does here. Streaming. Yeah, okay, that worked.
All right, we're on then. Cool. All right, so we're back. If you missed it, if you're just joining me now on my page, I was having some technical issues, but I've got it fixed now. But what we've been doing tonight is, a lot of times Cameron and I, we joke around and have fun, and we'll still do that some, but we do have, a big weather event taking place, and that is Hurricane Helene making landfall right now. And Cameron, it's a pretty big bad storm, right? And it blew up in a hurry. And as I was saying earlier, if Helene could have stayed over water, I think for 12, 24 more hours, it probably would have become a 5. It really got its act together in a hurry.
Well, I mean, there's nothing really stopping it.
No. I mean, you can look at the radar tonight here, and there's the eye wall. The eye wall itself is on, the eye itself is just about to make landfall. It's moving fast. And, you know, the good news is the area that it's in is very rural. It's a very big fishing community here, so it's real rural. There's not a lot of, like, beach resorts and stuff right in that area, I don't think.
Landfall's considered, like, when the eye
Yes,
to land, right?
when the eye itself makes it to land, and the eye is almost there. It's skirting the coast, and, of course, there's your...
So probably within the next 10, 15 minutes?
Oh, I'd say at least 30 minutes or so. I mean, but, you know, as long as the eye itself still is some over water, it still doesn't weaken. So, and the storm is so big and moving so fast, it's not going to weaken anyway. You know, this is going to continue to cause problems as it lifts northward here tonight.
So do you think with it moving as fast as it is, especially when it gets inland, do you think that's why it's keeping decent intensity as far?
Yes, no doubt about it. Katrina was very similar to this. You know, it was a big hurricane like this, and it moved really fast once it got on shore, and the momentum just carried all that wind up into, you know, Jackson where I was at, and I'll never forget that. It looked like a war zone after it hit. It came through and it produced, you know, widespread wind damage with trees down everywhere, power lines out. We were without power for a couple of weeks, I think, there in Jackson.
So let me ask you this: why is this one moving fast? Because typically hurricanes move pretty slow. So why is this one going as fast as it? Is it because it's getting caught by the jet?
Yeah, it's getting caught by there's an upper level low pressure system that's located northwest of it tonight, and that upper level low it's caught up in the circulation around it. It's slingshotting it is what it's doing. It's the Fujiwara effect. And that big low is sitting up here, and you got the circulation around this like this, and you got the circulation around this. So it's the interaction. It slingshots. It's going to slingshot it up just like that, and it's going to go fast. And I think once it gets up into here, though, you're going to see it lose its tropical characteristics pretty fast. It's going to get absorbed by this big low to the east, west of it there. But at least right now, that is a textbook hurricane making landfall now there. You know, I don't know if I got any Twitter feeds up tonight, but I've been watching some. Been watching a few. Of course, I can't show them on here because I don't have a way to put them in there. But I mean, I'm seeing a lot of storm surge flooding, which was well forecasted.
Yeah, I mean that's expected.
Yeah, this was an hour ago. Really bad flooding going on in Madeira Beach. There is, I'm just seeing lots of flooding, which, you know, you expect to see. You know, that area there, what makes it so vulnerable for storm surge flooding is this is a really, it's continental shelf. It's really shallow water in this area here. And, you know, you got that shallow water, it just helps, it's just easier for the storm to just push that water on shore. So you got a lot of water piling up anywhere along the you know, basically anywhere here and down into the Florida Panhandle, the western Florida Peninsula anyway. Of course, you know, you go to the east, you got an offshore flow, so you don't have as much flooding over there. What is that right there?
Just looking through, see like some storm chasers, see what they're up to.
You know, I've read Surge is almost up to us. Surge is almost up to us. Roof landed, nearly very dangerous conditions. Cedar Key.
So here's my thing, okay?
So there's Cedar Key right there. Yeah, they'd be in prime position for bad storm surge flooding there.
So here's my, you know, when it comes to chasing hurricanes, I'm all for going chasing a hurricane, but there's people who I think take risks that aren't necessary. There are people who want to ride on the coast, and they don't call it unsurvivable for no reason.
Well, I know of a guy. I'm not going to name any names here because I mean I know him. He knows me, and we're somewhat friends. But you know, when there was a big hurricane, I think it was Hurricane Michael. It was a Category 5, and he went to Mexico City Beach. I think it's Mexico City Beach. I think it was.
Right.
And it was the worst possible place to be, and his vehicle got flooded. Now, I don't know if he did that. You know, I know he was asked to go there, but, you know, a lot of times these storm chasers, especially ones that are wanting to get the best, because they make money off of these videos.
Yep.
So they're going to go get the best video they can, and when they do that, they put their lives in danger. You know, that's on them, though. You know, I mean, if that's what they're going to do, that's on them. I know that the police officers, I've read where the police officers have been pushing them out, has been basically saying that, you know, if we catch anybody on, you know, out and about, you're going to jail.
I mean, I get that. You know, like, you know, you don't want to. You know, they're telling people to get out, and I get the whole concept of storm chasing. They're telling people to get out, but you don't want to like put yourself in the path and be one of those people who you're you're calling them for help, but they can't help you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Somebody wants to know about Orlando. Yeah, Orlando's not getting the brunt of the storm, but they're getting a lot of wind and rain over there and tornadoes tonight. But the worst by far is passing well west of the Orlando area. That's good.
Like I know, like Weather Channel, they were live up there and they issued that PDS high wind warning.
Right.
And they said, okay, we're leaving.
Yeah. Well, that's probably smart. I don't know. I've always told myself that if I were a storm chaser and chasing a hurricane, I would probably want to go to where the worst storm surge is going to be, but I'd want to be in a high rise like a parking garage.
So, but here's the thing. Like, here's my take with that too. Like, I would do it, but how long you can be in that parking garage?
Well, you'll be there until the water goes down.
That's the thing.
And then how much damage is going to be there?
Yeah. So that's the thing. You could be, as great as much as I do enjoy hurricane chasing. If I get the opportunity to do it, I'll do it. But there's a very high risk with hurricane chasing because
I've only chased one hurricane in my life, and it was Hurricane George. It was a Category 2, 105-mile-per-hour winds. It stalled on the coast, and to me, it was boring. It was just a lot of wind and rain. But it did it for a long time. It wasn't like I had the excitement with the hurricane is when the eye wall comes on shore. That's the excitement. It's like the tornado, and that's when they experience the most extreme weather with it. But after the eye wall passes, you're really not dealing with the brunt of the hurricane anymore.
And then you're just stuck. I think when I chase a hurricane, the biggest difference is that a tornado, typically they're going to be quick, right?
Right.
A hurricane, you're going to get that force, and you're going to sit in that force for a while because they're usually slow moving. So it's
well, not only that, there's a lot of downed trees and stuff. You can't go anywhere because of all the trees and all the power lines and all the power poles and all that down. You can't go anywhere. So that's also an issue. A lot of people take chainsaws with them and generators with them because the power is going to go out, and then you're not going to have any AC, nothing like it's hot down there. So, but this definitely is a historical storm in the sense that how quickly it went from. Just 2 days ago, this was a Category 1 or even a tropical storm.
24 hours ago, it was a Category 1.
Well, yeah, it was a Category 1, and now it's up to a 4. It intensified that fast. Of course, people are going to blame global warming on that, but that's not true. What caused this was just ideal weather conditions. Incredibly warm water out there in the Gulf of Mexico, combined with we call this upper divergence. Now, hurricanes can strengthen steadily when you have upper level winds are weak aloft. But with this type of situation, that upper level low that's to the west has produced a wind current over the storm like this. And when it does like that, it diverges and it lifts the air up. So that's why this is able to intensify so fast. It's producing a lot of divergence way up high in the atmosphere, and that's allowing these storms to really rather quickly take off. You don't see that happen very often, but it does. Katrina, similar situation with Hurricane Katrina back many, many years ago. But looks like the Brad Arnold.
Yep.
Yeah. So it looks like you do got the northern eye wall making landfall. The thing about this though, it's going to move quickly through Georgia tonight. I mean, if I'm in Atlanta or anywhere, Valdosta, any of those areas, you're going to probably get that power. You're going to lose it. And one thing that we dealt with whenever Katrina came through in Jackson back in 2005 was the gas shortages. All the gas pumps quit working, and I saw people fighting to get gas and everything else. Man, it's crazy.
Well, that's like when I was in Hurricane Laura. It made landfall at Lake Charles, and the gas station we got dumped off at was just south of Shreveport, which is in the northern part of the boot of Louisiana.
Mm-hmm.
And they said that was the furthest south gas station in Louisiana that still had gas.
It looks like the Cowboys are winning 17-12 tonight. Well, that Cowboy team's just not very good. I think it's Dan McCarthy. I think he needs to go. It ain't Dak. It's the defense isn't very good, and I don't think they put their quarterback in the right position to succeed anyway. So. No run game, no anything like that. So here I am talking about football, and we're talking about a hurricane at the same time. So, but that's a big old hurricane hit, Cameron. I know you wish you were down there chasing it, don't you?
Of course.
Is that live right now?
Yeah.
Who is that?
This is, I think that's Reed, or one of the guys.
So we're watching and I don't know, I might could show it. Let me see here. We go back to my full screen here. So
You have to.
if you look, well, I'm gonna move my camera here. So So there's somebody that's alive on shore there chasing the hurricane.
This is the most sketchy setup I've ever seen.
Well, I don't have a way to pull him in.
I know.
So there is whomever it is that's chasing the hurricane. That's a pretty nice little setup though they got there. I'm guessing that's Reed. Reed makes a lot of money doing this. So yeah, so that's Reed streaming there, and you see, I just saw some. I'm seeing some pretty impressive video with the heavy winds. Of course, those streamers you see there, that's nothing. Yeah. But that's some pretty heavy wind.
The scary parts are when you start seeing the signs start twirling, and you worry because that scary part is like those signs, like this downtown sign you see here, like that, starts moving. Eventually, the wind can take it and turn it into a projectile, and who knows where it goes.
Yeah, I mean, those are some pretty strong winds and rain pushing through, but it doesn't look like anything just crazy, at least where he's at anyway.
Right.
I mean, they still have power there. So I mean, the winds obviously. I'm not sure where he's at though.
I don't know.
He says target the eye of Helene. Eye wall imminent. Of course, Reed's gonna.
Pretty far from the eye.
Well,
he's getting into
the thing about Reed is though he's gonna overhype whatever. So I mean, you got to take what he says with a grain of salt. I mean, he's definitely looking at his location though. He's definitely in the right spot to get some good stuff. That's for sure. But the worst of it hadn't gotten to him yet. But he's getting into it. I guess he's getting into it now. So
yeah, so it looks like he's like on the far northern edge of the eye wall right now. So it's only going to get.
That's some pretty good winds.
Yeah.
How about that time the Weather Channel was out there and they had a hard time standing up and then some dude just walks behind them. You remember that? You ever seen that? A dude just walks behind them.
There was one video. I forget what hurricane it was, but Cantori was out there covering it for the Weather Channel, and out of nowhere, I mean, from just like I told you, stuff flying. He had his hard hat on and all that, and he had to duck while on air. He ducked, and a street sign came flying over his head.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, holy cow.
So has Reed Timmer replaced Jim Cantori now as the go-to guy for weather?
I think so, because the weather, we talked about it, the Weather Channel isn't what it used to be.
I don't know who these two people are here on the side.
Basically, I know the guy is like Reed's like man in the chair who sits in an office,
mm-hmm.
kind of watches over the stream and stuff. I don't know who the woman is though.
That's the first time I've seen her. Maybe it's Reed's girlfriend. Maybe, who knows? She's cute.
So that's the first time I've seen her.
Yeah, first time I've seen her too. So I don't know. But yeah, we'll keep an eye on that here. I'm gonna put my camera back up here, so I know that was pretty
really
lame,
awkward.
Really lame. Well, I mean, we'll think about it is what it is. We're working on getting a better setup, but we don't got it yet. It's supposed to come next month. We'll see if we get it or not. We'll see. We'll see how it all goes.
So you just got people just casually driving.
Yeah, I mean, it's nothing. It's nothing impressive to me. I mean, they still got electricity where he's at. I mean, he's got a helmet on here, and I'm sure he's screaming and yelling because that's what Reed does.
I think Reed's feed is up here, whereas this is like some of his other chasers he's working with down there.
But that's my plan to do here. Have us on and have a streamer feed like that.
Right.
That's my plan, but I got to get up to set up to be able to do it, and we don't have it yet. But we're working on it. I think people will enjoy that.
Yeah, I agree.
But see, I think people also enjoy, weather in general. Like, we could have you down there in Florida right now chasing the hurricane, and I think people would love to see Weatherman Cam down there.
Oh, they definitely would. I hope they would. I hope they would, trust me enough to be down there.
I would.
And go to, not you, but, the public would trusting us to go down there.
So the woman is someone that's a pro about hurricanes, according to Corey Davis.
I don't know who she is. What's her name?
I've never seen her or never heard of her. So I mean, I'm not saying she's not, but I'm just saying that's I've never seen her before, so I don't know who she is. Reed is down there with his helmet on. He scares me, and he gets in the most dangerous area. That's what they do, I think Reed one day will probably die a happy man, and he'll probably die in a tornado or something. I wouldn't be surprised if that happened.
Yeah, he'll probably have some type of accident.
So, I don't want that to happen to him, but I'm just saying that's probably the way he wants to go.
That's just how he is. He's just a really aggressive chaser,
I think if I wanted to go out, it'd be something like, I would want to be here at the studio, and I'd want to be broadcasting to everybody live and telling them what's going on.
I'm in the storm. We'll see y'all later.
I'm gonna go down with the ship. I've told you that before. I'm going down with the ship. I'm not going to tuck tail and run.
You think I'm going to tuck tail and run?
Yes, I do.
Why?
Well, you're going to be out in the storm tracker, so it ain't gonna matter. You're going to tuck tail and not run, but you're going to tuck tail and chase.
I'll drive by the station. I'll try to catch you.
If I get blown away?
Yeah.
Maybe you get it on video.
That's what I said. I said, look, if I do, if I were to get in some type of like caught up in a tornado, that video better be all over YouTube the next day.
Well, I mean, sometimes we do, that does happen, so.
It's a risky take.
Yep. But it is times like these that I would wish that I were in like Florida so I could cover these kinds of things. I like covering big weather events. Of course, covering a hurricane is different than covering a tornado. A tornado event is, 2 or 3 hours, it's in here and out of here. Sometimes at the most 4 or 5. This, whenever you're in a TV station, if you're in Tallahassee or wherever, you're covering this for days on end. Yep. Not just weather, news is involved too, but there's a lot of weather, and you're on like, as a chief, you're there. You don't leave. You might go home and get a quick shower, maybe a quick bite to eat, but you're gonna be there, throughout the whole thing, So.
You see him? I don't know. You see him just get blown back by the wind?
That's some pretty good winds there now. He got some pretty good winds. Here, I'm gonna show this again here.
He just got blown back by the wind.
That's pretty good winds wherever they are. Pretty good winds there showing up now.
I tell you, like just from my experience of hurricane chasing, when the power goes out, it gets a little intimidating.
Well, I've only chased one hurricane, and it wasn't very intense. So.
Laura, it topped out at 155 miles per hour.
Were you in the eye wall with that one?
Yeah.
Like on the east eye wall?
Yeah.
Was it scary?
That's probably been like that. That was probably one of those moments where I had that fear I had as a kid of storms.
Yeah.
Because it is, the town lost power, so it is pitch black. You can't see anything, and I have never heard the wind howl the way it did in Hurricane Laura. And then it's not only that, but it's okay. That's happening, and then all you hear is sheet metal being blown through the streets, and you can't see it, but you hear it moving around the town.
Oh gosh.
And then luckily we cooped up with the local volunteer fire department because, funny enough, the place I originally picked to like hide out outside, like it was just in the parking lot, ended up being perfectly fine. Like we would have walked away scratch free from it just fine.
Really?
But we were a little nervous because it was our first time ever chasing a hurricane. We chased a borderline Cat 5. And,
wow.
We went to the fire department, but it got scary because the doors, I mean, it's, there was a big brick building for the firehouse, but the garage doors for the engine and all that got blown in.
Wow.
They got blown in, and then they're scrambling to get their backhoes backed up against it to hold them up. And I looked at my chasing partner. I was like, is this how we're gonna go out in a fire department middle of Louisiana? So it was. I was like.
So you're a little scared then. The wind was scary, huh?
The wind was scary. It's because, like I said, it's not quick. It is there and it beats on you for a while.
It stays for a while. Yeah, it's not like you say like a tornado. It doesn't come and go. It's there and then it's gone. It's there for a while.
Like
so.
You're sitting there and it's you get to a point where you ask yourself, when's this gonna end?
Yeah, let's look at the latest radar here and see what it looks like on the radar there. This is out of Tallahassee, and looks like we got landfall now. Looks like the eye itself, the very leading edge of the eye, is now moving on shore there. Looks like near Deckle Beach. Again, very rural areas, but of course the worst is impacting land now. I almost hate to see what some of these areas are going to look like, especially these areas down towards Horseshoe Beach and Cedar Key. I bet they've just gotten I bet there's 40, 50 foot swells down there right now with the storm surge. And and Tallahassee's about to get in it too soon. So if we, I can probably look at the velocities on it. Of course, I got to change. Give me a second here to get the right radar sight here. But
Wow.
there's your color palette you've been playing with. Kind of neat there.
Whoa.
It's pretty strong, isn't it?
It's pretty cool. It's cool to see it. To what the color scheme that you were using.
Yeah, that's all you, man. You came up with that. I like it. I think it looks cool. I think it pops and looks really interesting. It looks real smooth. So.
Remember, I told you, the colors basically start inverting when it basically starts to max out.
Yep. So, I like it. I think it looks good. So, but let's see if they got any other question here. So they brought her on for hurricane season. Okay. Like I say, I don't know who she is, but she's up. She looks like she might know what she's talking about. I hope he doesn't have his dog with. I don't think so. I don't think he takes Gizmo with him to something like this. Now he'd take Gizmo tornado chasing sometimes, but I don't think he would take him to something like this. So
probably, but usually he leaves the dog. If he's not taking it, leaves it at his mom's house.
I would take Lucky with me storm chasing if I could, but I don't storm chase so.
Yeah, times lost power.
Yeah, we really have very few people watching us tonight. I just don't understand that. We've got a really good little thing going on here. We just don't have a lot. Of course, I guess the Cowboys are on, and it's the real action is like you say with Reed and people like that are down there.
People want to see the action.
Yeah, we're not giving them the action
we're
here.
We're talking about it. Yes, we're talking about it, and yes, we're local to these people. But people, if they want to see the hurricane, they're going to go watch from inside the hurricane. You know what
I mean that's what I would do if I were at home. I'd probably turn on, I guess probably Weather Nation or somebody like that. And Weather Channel's not as good as it used to be, so I'd turn on I don't even think I even have Weather Channel anymore.
No, they kind of messed themselves up a little maybe a year or two ago, because they went to like their own platform, which like if you want to watch Weather Channel, you have to pay for just the Weather Channel itself, and everyone was like, yeah, that's not happening.
Yeah.
So
Well, these days, things have changed so much. These days, a lot of people get their weather information and during severe weather from these storm chasers and stuff, and these guys like Ryan Hall that are on these YouTubes and whatnot. So
you have this network that's saying, okay, if you want to watch this, pay for it, or just go on YouTube, watch this person for free.
Well, the thing about the YouTube, you have to be careful because a lot of those guys aren't degreed or licensed meteorologists. Some of them are, but a lot of them are not. And a lot of them really don't know what they're talking. They look like they do, but they really don't know what they're talking about. So.
Right.
It looks like wherever they are, they got power still. So.
I want to go storm chasing.
Well, we're in La Nina, so probably don't get much here. So. Somebody's asked me, you ever heard of the Severe Weather Channel? No. No, never heard of it. I'm sure there's some dude out there that created it, though. Probably not even, probably some, I'm at home with my mom and my dad. I'm going to create something called Severe Weather Channel. People are going to watch me. That's probably what they did.
That's like this one guy, I've sent shit before on TikTok. I can't remember his account name. But like every time I get a TikTok, it feels like he's always on live and like he's got 1,000 people watching. But he's like just sitting there at home. He's like 50-something years old. I'm not knocking him for the age, but like he's not a degreed meteorologist or anything like that. Like he was talking about, remember 2 or 3 weeks ago, we had that low pressure sitting there off the coast of Texas for a long time.
Yeah.
And I got on there and I like about lost my mind because he's like, this is going to become a Category 5 hurricane. He's like, this thing's just sitting here churning.
See, that's the problem with these. Oh, that's a good. Yeah, that was a good one there.
That was cool.
Yep. So
there goes the power.
So power's going out now. So that's the problem though with these guys on these YouTube and whatnot. A lot of them are just some old Joe Schmo at home that don't even know what they're just saying whatever, and people believe them. And we get lumped in to their that category with them.
Yep.
Oh, why did you say this? It didn't happen. No, I didn't say that. That dude said that, not me. So I guess the Severe Weather Channel just takes local severe weather coverage. It isn't some Joe Schmo. It just showed up on DirecTV lineup. Must be live severe weather from local. Ooh, that's a good one there. Yes. But that's a lot of that's some action there too. That's it doesn't look like the winds are just crazy where they're at though. A lot of rain coming down, but I mean I don't even see a lot of damage. I still see power in a lot of these places.
How much you want to bet we get a Reed scream here?
Oh, Reed gonna scream. That's just all there is to it. That's what he does.
I know.
He's just gonna scream.
But you probably get a good one here.
Oh, look at that! Yeah, that's probably what he says. Also a licensed agent for the state of Florida, and I spoke with a man today, and he told me that he didn't realize they were doing evacuations. But what rock has he been under? They've been doing evacuations. That's been like a huge story for a long time down there. Oh, there it was. Whoa. It is interesting to watch these guys, though. But I mean, outside of that, there really is nothing that's just that interesting.
Especially like when these towns start losing power, you're not going to see much.
Nope. So does El Nino or La Nina bring us more rain? El Nino does. La Nina is the opposite. It brings us drought, and that's what we're in right now. And I'll tell you, folks, the weather pattern here looks dead. Actually, it looks hot. It looks like we're about to get hot again.
That's what we all want.
Yep, that's what everybody wants. There's another fall with a lot of hot weather. That's what we're getting. That's what La Nina does for us, though.
La Nina is not good.
Nope, I'm not a fan of La Nina.
One of my favorite things that you've said that that's kind of always stuck with me is talk about how, talk about how people always talk about how the waters are warmer, and they are pretty warm. But how is we always end up in La Nina, which is cooler water? Like, how does that make you know what I'm saying?
It has to do with the trade winds, and the trade winds when they blow a certain direction, and then that just impacts the global circulation. So.
But like it's if you have the cooler waters, but it's like with how warm the waters are, how you getting those cooler waters like that? You know what I mean?
I don't know. Yeah, you're right. Probably upwelling, I would imagine. Upwelling, because as the trade winds blow, they blow that warmer water off, and upwelling occurs, and you get cooler temperatures there. But yeah, Helene has now made landfall. I think looks like it's close to it, and it hadn't yet. Looks like it's on shore. Yeah, it looks like at least part of the eye is there. So.
Oh, Ken, we gotta start doing something like this.
Well, I mean, it was my plan to be able to, at some point in time, to be able to do this kind of stuff. Actually, I had an idea to do what Reed does now years ago, well before Reed ever even knew who he was. My plan was to build a mobile satellite truck, and I had the engineer ready to build it, but I didn't have the funds. It was going to cost about $300,000, and we were going to do it, and we were going to go do all this stuff live, and it would be done through, because this before the internet had good streaming stuff. Now the internet streams, you don't need a satellite anymore.
Well, now it's this stuff truthfully is fairly easy.
Yeah, I mean,
You
look,
just need good internet.
I would think that he's probably on Starlink or something like that. Probably getting a satellite feed some way, because I would think that the cell phone towers are down there. Yeah. So I would think, there's a good explosion there. I would think that that's what he's that's what he's on. I would think. I know Brandon has Starlink in his vehicle, although he says Starlink isn't that good.
I've kind of heard a lot of like hit and miss comments about Starlink, saying that if there's cloud coverage, that's a factor on how well it works and all that. And if you're in a hurricane, I don't know how good that's going to be if cloud coverage is a factor.
I don't know.
Do you know what the one downside was of my hurricane chase? It made landfall late at night, like midnight, so I did not get to see the stadium effect.
Oh man, that would be. I've seen this. No, have I seen? Yeah, when I flew into Hurricane Charlie with the Hurricane Hunters, we saw the stadium effect. It was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. Why is he showing the radar down there at San Juan?
I don't know. Well, he's got the whole radar behind him, but it was just cropped poorly.
Now I will say this about their platform. It looks really good. I don't know what they're using here, but that is a really sharp looking platform. Whoever designed that did a really good job. I've tried to design something, and I can't do it. But Reed.
Those winds are getting.
Yeah, they're good. They're getting with it. But Reed makes a lot of money doing this, though. I bet he makes $1 million a year, because he goes and does speaking engagements and everything else. So.
He's got sponsors, all that stuff.
Oh yeah, he makes a lot of money doing it. He's not doing this for free. But what kind of a life would that be, though?
Just go storm chasing for your living.
I mean, but even if you have a family, there's no way you can have a good family life if you're gone all the time.
I mean, yeah, that's why Reed doesn't have a family.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to be able to go to kids' events, and your wife ain't going to be happy if you're gone. Now, if she does it with you, that's different. So, let's see if we got any questions here. We haven't had a whole lot of questions tonight. Well, we're still on there, according to that.
All right, then.
I have no idea what happened.
Technical difficulties. It didn't take us off, did it?
I don't know. I don't know what it did. I don't know if we're on or not still. Yeah, still on. It says offline. I guess it did kick us off. No, we're on.
We're on.
We don't have but like 15 people watching, but we're on. Nobody watching on YouTube.
We have 24, thank you.
Nobody watching on YouTube.
Well, probably froze up and had to reconnect again if I had to guess.
Yeah, that's the problem with this, and it freezes up sometime. I don't know if it's like I say, if it's a restream or if it's OBS that does it to us. So, but hopefully one of these days we can get around all that. So,
we're trying.
Well, it's about time, Cameron, to get dressed for the newscast. I'm gonna have to go.
You gotta get dressed.
Yeah, I gotta get dressed to go. So I'm gonna jump off of here. But I do appreciate you guys joining us tonight. Again, Helene has made landfall there along the Florida Big Bend coastline tonight. We showed you that live right here. Prayers for our friends over our way. Wish we could get some rain, but we're not getting any. But at least the weather's nice, right?
Sure. I mean, it's gonna until it gets warm again.
Yeah, it's coming.